Hello, everybody. Welcome back into another episode of That Boy Was Busy, seen exclusively here on Mark Out Moments. I'm Pondwater Dave. Thank you for joining me for another fun episode where our subject this time will be Terry Funk in his October of 1969. In 1969, Terry Funk would wrestle 18 times. Um, Two of those days he did double shots, and he traveled from California to Texas to Missouri and to Atlanta, Georgia. He racked up 7,586 miles for the month of October in 1969. What an incredible, he's a road warrior. I mean, that's all you can say. And the crazy part is some of these stretches that he did were in Texas, where 436 miles in the same state. There was a couple that he would do that were there were 316 mile round, so 732 mile round trips to wrestle one day to the next. But let's just go ahead and jump right into it. October 1st, 1969, for the NWA Hollywood TV tapings at the Olympic Auditorium in Los Angeles, California, Pepper Martin defeats Terry Funk. Got a fun story about Pepper Martin. Y'all may not know this. Pepper Martin was an actor, and one of the things he's most famous for is his appearance in Superman 2. He was the truck driver in the bar that beat up Clark Kent when Clark didn't have his powers after he gave them up in the Fortress of Solitude. Pepper Martin was in a lot of Hollywood productions after he quit wrestling, but everybody remembers him from the guy that beat up Clark Kent in Superman 2. On the 2nd, we're still at NWA Hollywood. This time we're at the Strelich Stadium in Bakersfield. Terry Funk defeats the Great Kojika. On the 3rd, we're still for NWA Hollywood. We're back at the Olympic Auditorium in Los Angeles, where Terry will team with his father. He's teaming with Dory Funk Sr. against the Hangman and the Oregon Lumberjack. The Oregon Lumberjack was Ricky Romero. I believe that's Rocky's father, but he's the Oregon Lumberjack here. Then on the 6th, where he gets 3 days off, but he's on the October 6th, 1969, for NWA Western States at the Taylor County Coliseum in Abilene, Texas. For the NWA Western States Tag Team title, Terry Funk and the Lawman defeat Art Nelson and Kurt Von Bronner to become the champions. On the 7th, for NWA Western States, we're in the Ector County Coliseum in Odessa, Texas, as Terry teams with Bob Geigel. Yeah, that Bob Geigel that will become the NWA president. They defeat Art Nelson and Kurt Von Bronner by disqualification. On the 13th, still for NWA Western States, at the Fair Park Auditorium in Abilene, Texas, for the NWA Western States Tag Team titles, Art Nelson and Kurt Von Bronner defeat Terry Funk and the Lawmen to regain their championships. Also on the 13th, at the same location, same building, Terry Funk defeats Art Nelson. I would imagine that's what we called back in the day as a captain's match. Normally, if you had a tag team main event, you'd have a captain's match where one man from each team would meet earlier in the night. They did it a lot, especially in the world class area. And when in the 80s, we always could count on, if the Von Erichs were fighting the Freebirds, that we were probably going to get a Von Erich Freebird singles match as well. All right, on the 15th, for NWA Western States at the San Angelo Coliseum in San Angelo, Texas, I'm here to tell you that drive is only 90 miles from Amarillo to San Angelo. It is one of the most miserable drives. I drove it one time back in 1986. There was nothing out there at the time but pitch black. And I blew a front tire, left the lights on the car so I could change the front tire, killed the battery. I was stranded out there for several hours till a tow truck came by and gave me a jump. True story. do not have any fond memories at all whatsoever of San Angelo, Texas. So, but Terry Funk does because he beat Harley Race that night in a Texas death match. Yeah, I'd rather die than go back to San Angelo, Texas. On the 16th in 1969, best 2 out of 3 falls again for NWA Western States at the Sports Arena in Amarillo, Texas. Terry Funk defeats Harley Race in 21 minutes, 8 seconds, 2 falls to 1. On the 17th of October, NWA St. Louis at the St. Louis Arena in St. Louis, Missouri. Best 2 out of 3 falls with the referee Joe Louis. Yeah, the former heavyweight champion of the world, boxing heavyweight champion of the world, Joe Louis. They eventually named an arena there in Detroit after him. Best 2 out of 3 falls. The Funks, Dory Sr. and Terry defeat Blackjack Lanza and Bobby Heenan. Yeah, Bobby the Brain Heenan wrestling, tag teaming with Blackjack Lanza. They did it by disqualification, 2 falls to 1. On the 20th, Alex Perez versus Terry Funk goes to a time limit draw. This went down in the El Paso County Coliseum in El Paso, Texas. Alex Perez, that's not Al Perez that later had fame in World Class in WCW. This Alex Perez was a wrestler, and then he went on to do some acting. He was in Sylvester Stallone's movie Paradise Alley. On the 23rd, and we had at the for NWA Western States at the Sports Arena in Amarillo, Joe LeDuc and Paul LeDuc defeat Ricky Romero and Terry Funk in 8 minutes and 31 seconds. I want to remind you that Ricky Romero was earlier out in California wrestling as the Oregon Lumberjack. On the 27th of October, Ricky Romero and Terry Funk defeat Alex Perez and Dusty Rhodes. This went down at the El Paso County Coliseum in El Paso, Texas. On the 28th, best 2 out of 3 falls. This is going down in the Ector County Coliseum in Odessa. Terry Funk defeats Dusty Rhodes 2 falls to 1. On the 29th, at the Fair Park Coliseum in Lubbock, Texas, for NWA Western States, the NWA Western States tag team titles on the line. Ricky Romero and Terry Funk defeat Dusty Rhodes and Harley Race. If Ricky Romero and Terry Funk are the champions, somewhere in his schedule they got the belts back, and I don't know where that is. It's not available, so there had to have been a 19th match in here somewhere that we don't know anything about. On the 30th of October, we have a Russian chain match at the Sports Arena in Amarillo, Texas. Terry Funk defeats Harley Race by referee stoppage in 12 minutes and 41 seconds. I'd kind of like to know what made it a Russian chain match when Terry Funk and Harley Race, neither one are Russians. It's kind of interesting, but a referee stoppage in 12 minutes and 41 seconds. Also on October 30th, 1969, there was a battle royal where Emile Dupree, that is Rene Dupree's father. Y'all might know who Rene Dupree was from his time in WWF. Well, his father beat Art Nelson and Don Barnes and Dusty Rhodes and Joe LeDuc and Kurt Von Bronner and Lou Christie and Nick Bockwinkel and Paul LeDuc and Ricky Romero and Rufus R. Freight Train Jones and Terry Funk to win that battle royal at the Sports Arena in Amarillo, Texas. What? Look at how many Hall of Famers did I list there? Nick Bockwinkel, AWA World Champion, great. Harley Race, 8 times your NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Dusty Rhodes, 3 times your NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Who else did we have in here? Of course, we had Dory Sr. was tag teaming with him. We had Blackjack Lanza, WWE Hall of Famer. Bobby the Brain Heenan, wrestling before he became the greatest wrestling manager of all time. lots and lots of tremendous talent in October of 1969. I was 3 years old, and I wish I could have seen some of this action. Uh, Unfortunately, that Amarillo area, it's hard to find footage from. But Terry Funk was out there doing it, man. I want to look over in the chat. Kevin Davenport's rolling with us. Thank you for your time this evening. Before I get out of here, I want to remind you that this episode of That Boy Was Busy is fueled by Dubby, the clean energy drink for people who need focus without the crash. Unlike other energy drinks that are loaded with sugars, fillers, and artificial dyes, Dubby's made with vitamins, amino acids, nootropics, and 150 milligrams of clean caffeine. That means no jitters, no crash, no nonsense, just smooth, long-lasting energy. Also, it gives you great focus. That's been the advantage that I've experienced drinking Dubby. I've completely cut out all other energy drinks. I drink Dubby twice a day. It's recommended you don't do it more than 2 a day. It's so easy. It tastes great. So if you want to stay focused in the ring, at work, wherever life takes you, head over to w.gg and use the promo code RASSLIN, RASSLIN, to save on your order today. You'll save 10%. That's w.gg, promo code RASSLIN. That's wrestling. Tell them Pondwater Dave sent you. You'll love it. I'm telling you, I'm already shot out of the cannon most of the time anyway, but I've really, really, really enjoyed the extra focus. I've noticed it. It's a noticeable difference, and it's really helping me out because everybody knows I'm an elderly, and I need all the help I can get. All right. Thank y'all for joining me for this episode of That Boy Was Busy. There'll be more episodes with Terry Funk. He had a long, great career. If there's anybody that you'd like me to cover that might, that I may overlook, because I'm kind of, there's plenty of wrestlers out there and I don't want to overlook your favorites, drop me a line. I'm at Ref Super Dave PWD on X, and I'll be glad to cover your favorite wrestler. Until next time, I'm Pondwater Dave. This has been That Boy Is Busy, exclusively on the Mark Out Moments Network. Good night.